Hi guys, I'm Deidre. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and be sure to share the video to all your friends. Today, we're going to be discussing imposter syndrome, what is it, and 5 tips that you can use to combat imposter syndrome. Alright, so imposter syndrome, what is it? Have you ever felt that you just weren't good enough? Did you feel like an imposter? Despite having tons of degrees, tons of qualifications, you know you have the experience, but yet still you still feel like you're just not good enough? Do you feel like no one's going to read your book? Maybe you feel like your book is crap. No one would want to read this. Who would want to read this? We have to trash it. If you find yourself getting those feelings, you may be suffering from what's known as imposter syndrome. Now, don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. It happens to all of us. Well, maybe not all of us, but most of us. So if you find that you're having these feelings of doubt or that you feel like you just aren't good enough, here are 5 things that you can do to combat it. Tip number 1, don't suffer in silence. Don't be ashamed. If you find that you're having these feelings, first of all, the best tip I can give you is to find like people. So if you're a writer, go ahead and join writer groups on Facebook, writer groups on social media, and share what you're feeling. Break the silence. Because chances are when you break the silence, other people will be able to tell you that, hey, don't worry about it. I felt the same thing too. And then when you realize that a lot of you are going through the same thing, you find a bond and you're able to work your way through it. So the first tip is break the silence. Don't suffer in silence. My second tip is to reward yourself when you do something good. So a big part of imposter syndrome is feeling that nothing that you've done is good enough. Remember, I have a noisy background, so if you hear any cars passing or any dogs barking, I apologize in advance. Alright, but back to imposter syndrome. Now, my second tip, as I said, is to reward yourself. So a part of imposter syndrome is basically feeling like you've done nothing to deserve what you're getting. So you've done nothing to deserve that award. You've done nothing to have anyone read your book. Why would they want to read your book? But I'm here to tell you, if you reward yourself at every small interval, you'll have all of these things to look back on. So when you write that first 1,000 words, or when you finish that first chapter, reward yourself. Maybe not go crazy with all the Burger King or all the cake or all the fast food. Guilty. Because then you'll get unhealthy. But you want to use stuff like, maybe buy yourself a favorite pen, maybe buy yourself a favorite book. Allow yourself to watch that movie. These small rewards will remind you that, hey, you've accomplished this much, so you're worth everything that you're receiving. All right, tip number 3. Get ready. Fake it till you make it. All right, I know we're trying to not be imposters here, and I'm telling you to be an imposter. True, but not so true. The thing is, right? You feel like you're an imposter because you believe that you're not good enough. So if you get up every morning and tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I am good enough. I deserve this award. I deserve to have people read the words that I write. Someone wants to hear my story. These different mantras can help you remind yourself that you're loved, that you deserve every little bit that you're getting. And over time, as you fake it, you'll start to believe it. And once you believe it, you'll make it. So yeah, next time you consider yourself an imposter, stop and tell yourself, you're good enough. You deserve it. You wrote these words and they need to read it. Someone will love your book. And you'll start to realize that, hey, you're not really feeling like an imposter anymore. You are, in fact, every little thing that they tell you to do. The good ones. Tip number 4. Visualize yourself being successful. Now, if you see it, it can happen. If you believe it, you can make it happen. So put a wall up behind you, put a wall up in front of you, put little inspirational quotes, read it. If you're religious, read the Bible. If you're not religious, read the quotes, and even some quotes from the Bible may still be able to help you if you're not religious, because you're worth it. You're good enough. These little mantras, print them out, put it in front of you when you're working, and believe it. Visualize yourself having the #1 book. Visualize yourself being a bestseller. I apologize for the car. Now, visualize yourself having the #1 book. Visualize yourself being a bestseller. Visualize yourself having all the accolades that you want, and you will receive it. All right, tip number 5. Now, this last tip is going to hit some of you hard, right? Because the final tip is to understand and realize that you won't be perfect or good at everything that you do. So you need to know when it is valid to feel like an imposter. Now, I'm not telling you that you should go out and say, yeah, I'm great at everything and I'm good and I'll be perfect every single time, because that's not going to happen. You're going to fall. You're going to write some words that you wonder, where did these come from? You're going to release a book that's going to flop. You have to be prepared for that, right? So, you have to understand that that's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down. What counts is not failing, not actually falling down, but never getting back up. Never saying, okay, that happened. Let's try it again, right? So the last tip is to know when you are in fact being an imposter. So if you know you aren't qualified to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, if you know that you have no experience in the subject matter that you're writing about, research it. Make yourself qualified to do what you're doing. Make yourself qualified on the subject matter. That way, when you know what you're talking about, people reading your book will believe you. They'll relate to it because they'll know that, hey, this person knows what they're talking about. They actually took the time to make me realize that this is a good book, or this is a good chapter, or this is a good poem, or hell, this is a good movie. I apologize. But anything that you're doing, be it writing, be it life, be it anything, you need to know when you're actually being an imposter and when that's imposter syndrome just creeping in. All right, so we've gone over the 5 tips. I'll go ahead and just reiterate them. So those 5 tips were: 1, break the silence, don't suffer in silence. 2, reward yourself. 3, visualize success. 4, fake it till you make it. And 5, realize when you're actually being an imposter and admit it to yourself. Impostor syndrome isn't impossible. The difference between someone feeling like an imposter and actually being an imposter is their mindset. If you believe you're an imposter, your mind will allow your body to be an imposter. So remember, you're worth it, you're good enough. There's no imposters here. If you have the qualifications and you can actually do what you're setting out to do it and do it well. All right, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment and let me know if you ever felt like an imposter and what you do when you're having imposter syndrome. Share it with me. Share it with everyone, and let's start a discussion. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, ding that bell so you'll know when I post videos. I post videos every Monday. So be back here when the new video goes up, and thank you so much for watching my video on my channel. Bye! Four, that you can use to combat, and 5 things. Wait,